Hi, I am Monica Brant, one of the world's first true fitness pioneers starting back in 1991. I helped launch the fitness industry while traveling internationally, meeting fans worldwide to share my style of fitness to the bodybuilding community. After a decade of fitness competitions, I earned one of the world's most prestigious titles, the IFBB Fitness Olympia Championships. Moving into the new millennium, I was the first IFBB Fitness Olympia athlete to transition into the new professional figure division and compete for close to another 20 years. After 15 years as an IFBB professional, I tried another organization and won the WBFF World Pro Figure Championships both 2010 and 2013. I am a true athlete and made my way into racing into the Masters USATF sprint events, placing top 3 at the World's Masters track meet in all 3 events, the 100, 200, and 400 meter races. Besides athletics, I have been honored with over 100 magazine covers both nationally and internationally. Since it's always a blessing to share with others, over the last 15 years, I've hosted women's fitness events and worked with clients, helping them discover how to live radiantly in all areas of life, body, mind, soul, and spirit. The Monica Brant Show is one of the ways I am honoring the legendary athletes, powerhouse individuals, and nutrition gurus that have laid a strong foundation in the past, help keep the current industry flowing, and offer inspiration to the next generations.
Hello. Uh-oh. I'm a little bit blurry. Am I blurry?
Yes, you are blurry, but
Yeah, that's okay.
your beauty just shines through the blurriness.
It's totally okay. We're here, not for me, but for our special guest.
Oh, I know. You're still special, though. There, you're not so blurry when you sit back. I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know. It's like going in and out. Okay, crazy technology, but I'm so thankful that we have it. So thank you guys for tuning in. You have tuned into the Monica Brant Show. I'm your host, Monica Brant. And we've got Wendy Fortino on, my very special co-host. Hello, Wendy.
Hello.
So sorry about the blurriness. It seems like we may both kind of go in and out. I'm not sure what's going on here, but thankfully, at least we got some connections. And I'm excited about our guest tonight. Are you?
I am really excited. I think that the guest that you have tonight, I think is someone who can share some different insight on topics that will relate to a lot of people, and I think it's going to be a really fun conversation.
Well, do you think it's going to be a fun conversation? Because maybe he's been a stand-up veteran comedian for almost 30 years.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was binge watching him on YouTube, and I don't regret a minute of it.
It's a long time. I mean, I've been, in the fitness industry for, I always say, close to 30 years now. And it goes by so fast. I can't believe it. So I can't believe he's been on stage that long as a comedian, but I'm so excited. And one of the things that I'm excited about him is that He is also a husband. He's a father. He does everything. He's an author. He's been on the radio. He's been on the TV. He's done commercial work. Like, he's done everything. And he's also been a host on some of the biggest shows in our industry, you know, the bodybuilding fitness shows, that maybe the Olympia. And that's actually how I got to know him. I just actually found a picture on his website. I was laughing because it was such a little bit small picture. And I'm like, oh, who's this girl in the picture? And I zoomed in. It was me. I was like, oh, it's me.
How did you meet him?
At the Olympia. Like, he was hosting the he hosts these shows, right? So as a competitor, you know, we get to meet the people backstage, the MCs, and we get to know them. And so he was, and I can't remember if I met him at the Olympia or I met him at Jantana's show, but I think it might have been the Jantana, and then we just kind of kept in touch because they brought him into the Olympia to host because he's just fun and he's clean.
And kind of host that goes backstage and meets the athletes. I love that. It makes it feel like good vibes. That's my favorite.
Right, and when you go on stage, you don't feel so alone. When you've got someone on stage, you're like, you kind of eye to eye, you know who they are, and yeah, it's awesome. So I'm super excited. Okay, we've got to show his reel because you and I can just sit here and keep chatting away. And meanwhile, Tim Wilkins is going to be sitting there going, "Hey, bring me in." All right, so let's roll his intro video.
Hello, my friends.
Hey, Tim.
Nice to see you. Welcome to the Monica Brant Show.
Nice to see you. And it was the Jantana where we first met, where when you weren't competing one year, we had the most embarrassing experience ever. Jan brought in the original costumes from The Wizard of Oz and made me the Scarecrow and made you Dorothy.
Well, I probably had a better role than you.
You got to be a hot Dorothy. I got to itch all night.
You're right. And you know what? I still have that costume because I keep thinking if I ever wanted to use it for anything, I have it. Like the little yeah.
Oh, your husband's a lucky man. My wife has to sleep with a pack of straw.
But what about remember the people that came in and did the lion and those artists were amazing.
The airbrush makeup they did for the Cowardly Lion and the Scarecrow, everything was just perfect.
This was at a show? Where do
Okay. Wait a minute, Wendy. So Jan Tan.
Annie.
You know who I'm talking about, Jantana? You know Jan, right? Jan used to do a theme for all of her shows. She would have a theme, and she would have all kinds of hair and makeup artists. She'd have everybody coming in, and it was she had military come in and do the parade with the flags, and she really did a beautiful show. So what happened is she would host a pro show, and then she would also have the Master Men's Olympia.
I have nostalgia for a period I was not a part of.
Yes. I know, you would have loved it.
I don't know if Monica knows this backstory. Wendy, I wanted to be in the business. I wanted to be around it. I just wanted to be a part of bodybuilding and fitness. It had been a dream since I grew up and ran around Venice, California. And I drove through the night about 14 hours through snow and rain to the Arnold Classic just to meet somebody and try to get work. And I ran into Jan in the elevator on the way to the expo. And she, what are you doing here? I'm just trying to meet people to host shows and stuff. I have a show you can host. What is it? The Olympia Jantana Classic. It'd be great to have you.
It sounds just like her.
Every door.
You guys hear that out there? Anyone listening? Did you hear how he did that? Just show up. Show up. That's awesome.
Okay, so I want to share a little story that maybe, Tim, you don't know now that you've shared that. So when I first was in fitness, I did competitions in 91, 93, 94 and 95. This is before NPC was available for fitness. NPC was just bodybuilding. So I was doing the Fitness USA competitions is what the organization was called. And I went to the nationals in February of 1995. Went to the nationals. I got qualified anyways. And it was out in Buena Park, California. There was almost 200 girls competing. And I showed up from Texas, me and my girlfriend came out with me and my family was there, but backstage. And this was like almost a week-long competition. It was crazy. Like it's a real pageant. So anyways, so the night show, I go backstage, like the night show, because they had all these little preliminary things you had to do. And then we had to learn some kind of routine to do in the beginning of the show. It was a big production. Anyways, at the night show, when it was like the finals and all that, I go backstage. And my girlfriend and I are like, okay, where are we going to go? Because everyone's kind of flooding into all of the different rooms where you could go, and they had, makeup rooms and dressing rooms. Mind you, almost 200 girls. And we're all just kind of like, there's all the rooms, go find a space. Well, I go and I look in one door and it's a huge room and two people are in there. And the two people that are in there is Carol Simple and Jan Tana. Oh. So Jan was Carol's sponsor. And Carol was just kind of coming into the scene. Remember Carol Simple?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Mm-hmm. So she was in there. Well, I didn't realize this, but later I started hearing, well, she was the one that was supposed to win. Everyone was like, oh, Carol's going to win. Carol's going to win. Carol's going to win. And I'm in there, the room with her. And everyone else wanted to go in the room because everyone else was scared to go in the room. So it was just Carol and Jan and then me and my girlfriend. Well, I'm in there and I'm like, well, I'm not afraid to be in there and I don't expect to win. I was just going and having fun and kind of like Tim, showing up, doing the thing. Well, anyways, I go up to Jan Tana at some point during the show and I handed her my little composition card because in those days you had modeling cards, like the front was your headshot, the back you had whatever. And I had one cover of Muscle and Fitness. Like I'm just this random person as a Muscle and Fitness cover. And anyways, I gave Jan my card and I said, if you ever need a blonde fitness model, because Carol was dark hair. And I said, I would love to, I just would, hey, here I am. Jan called me. I came in 9th that show. Carol won. I came in 9th. And it ended up about a month later, Jan Tana calls me and she's like, hey, you can do her accent way better than me.
Hi, Monica, it's Jan.
Yes. Yeah, she invited me to come to her first pro fitness show that she was hosting in 1995. And anyways, I won't go on. That's a whole nother topic, but that's how and then mind you, I moved to LA in 95 April. Jan's the first one that calls me and books me on my first big job. And I ended up being the Jan Tana girl. So Jan, very inspirational for, I think, a lot of people, Tim, and she really helped a lot of people kind of push them out into these different places. And she was smart. Like she knows good people to have around her.
You did it. So after you met Jan Tana on the elevator, Tim, so she said, I have a show that you can MC. Then which one was it? What was the first one and how did that happen?
Oh no, the rest of that day gets better.
Yeah,
so I was going to stay on my buddy's couch, floor, whatever he had in his room at the host hotel for the expo. And he had 2 tickets in row double Z at the night show we were going to go. And on the way to the expo, she said, do you have a lanyard for the expo? My husband doesn't go. And he's in already. David, here, take this, put it on. And so I get into the expo for free. She goes, well, what are you doing tonight? My husband never goes to shows. He's bored stiff with it. So I go with her. I said, where are we going to sit? She goes, oh, honey, we don't sit out there. We just go back and talk to Arnold Maria.
Oh.
So here I am. I had no tickets. I've driven 14 hours. I've slept for an hour and a half and had breakfast at the buffet. And before I know it, I'm holding Jan's mink with him going, well, I don't know who you are, but you seem nice and Jan likes you. What? And my head just exploded. And now, Monica asked me earlier, do you know Arnold? Arnold knows me enough to go, yeah, I know you. You're right. It's okay. That was so from there I emceed her Masters Mr. Olympia and fitness, and that's where I met Monica. And then they had the NPC show after, and then I did that, and the next year is the year that Wayne D'Amelia got me to do the bunch of the other shows, and there were other judges and competitors that had their own shows back home, and that just can you do my show in Lauderdale? Can you do the show in Georgia? Can you do a show over in Texas? And that's what just blew everything up, just being there and kind of like you said, showing up and wanting it really bad.
Wow.
I love it. I love it.
Man,
oh my
things
gosh.
are so much different now in terms of how people get connections, but the grind was so real. Just how you couldn't just post a photo on Instagram and like hope that, or like reach out to somebody like and easily contact them. I mean, show up and grind it out like that. I mean, man.
I preferred it that way rather than just having an IG account and going, I'm an influencer and I influence people.
Well, I agree. We're kind of, but I think we're old school. We like that relationship. We like the interaction with people. And, you know, speaking of, I got to take a really quick second and thank my sponsors for the show, Legendary Foods, Egg White International, Aloe Life International. And with that, we have 2 giveaways. So I'm gonna ask a question right now, you guys that are tuned in here. So thank you guys for tuning in. We just started rolling, going, and talking, and I want to make sure that our viewers are acknowledged. So thank you guys for joining. And whoever is able to answer the first question correctly, comments, please type it in the comments. You do have to be a USA resident. I'm so sorry. We can't ship over the borders right now. So the first question is, what is Tim's latest CD? And I know we'll get into that a little bit later. So we'll have a second question later in the show that actually corresponds back to the conversation we just had. But whoever can answer that first, you guys, you can find it on the internet if you go and check out Tim Lyons. Oh my gosh, I knew I was going to do that. Sarah Lyons has a friend named Tim Lyons, and we're supposed to have lunch with him next week. And I was like, Tim Lyons, no, Tim Wilkins. Oh my gosh. Okay. I did it once. I said I wasn't going to do it. So that's the backstory on that. So Tim Wilkins, it's timwilkins.com. Is that correct?
It is. My name was still available when I got a website.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Mine too. Mine 1999. When was your first website?
95.
Hey, yep, there you go. Okay, so what is Tim's latest CD? I almost said the answer because I'm so like excited here. Okay, whoever can comment first, you get the Legendary Foods goodie package, and it's to die for or to live for. Very fun, keto friendly, tasty pastries, flavored nut butters and flavored almonds. So you guys answer the question right away, and you will be our winner chicken dinner for a Pop-Tart, a healthy Pop-Tart. So Tim, let's go into a little bit of kind of where you are right now with COVID, with kind of all the lockdown that happened this year. 2020 has been a giant year for everybody. So maybe share with us, you know, kind of how has it been in Southern Florida for you guys, and what has been the biggest takeaway for 2020 for you?
Well, this is a tough year. This is the year I learned I wasn't essential.
Oh,
yeah, and that's a tough thing to hear from your wife. It really is.
I caught that.
And
wait, I didn't hear that. You said, what'd you say about your wife?
That's a tough thing to hear from your wife, that you're not essential.
Okay.
I caught that.
This was a tough year because I was really ramping up with some great productions. Comedy was going great. I was booked out, and I was set to do Masters Nationals. So I was going to start my prep in February. And then I just felt this dystopian pandemic-y thing going on, and they just started shutting things. And it's like when the mall starts to shut and you still need a pair of pants and you're just running around grabbing things thinking, I'll try them on later. If they don't fit, when the mall reopens, I'll take them back. It's just been a weird feeling. I've done one comedy show in 7 months. Before this, if I went 7 days, I couldn't remember my act. I literally listened to 2 of my old CDs on the way to the show to remember what I used to say.
Aww. Okay. Yeah. Do you want to do a comedy act right now so you can pretend that you're involved in that still?
I would literally have to remember. It was like getting on a plane the other day was the first time that it came back to me. I sat down next to a pilot who was flying home, and he'd obviously had a couple drinks. And it reminded me of when they used to bust the pilots every couple of weeks because they were drunk. And they would go on the loudspeaker, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is your pilot, Captain Morgan.
Okay.
My first officer helping me out on the flight deck today, Lieutenant Jim Beam. We're currently flying at 30,000 feet, and we'll be taking off shortly. I was literally, when a pilot got busted, I was literally reading the paper, the USA Today, getting ready to take off in Miami, which feels like New York and Cuba had a baby. And I look in the paper and I go, oh, another pilot got busted. And the guy comes on the intercom and says, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is your pilot, Captain Morgan. And I couldn't get to my pen fast enough.
That's okay. Funny. One of my I was obviously watching you on YouTube, and there was a joke that made me laugh out loud, and I was by myself, and it was probably like the silliest joke, but you know how sometimes those silly little jokes just are the ones that make you just start laughing out loud. You said a joke about how grandma found an emoji on the phone that she thought was a chocolate kiss. And so your daughter was like, Mom, Nana's sending us hugs and poops.
I think the reason my writing has slowed down is because I write stuff that happens, and I write stuff everybody can relate to, and that's one of those things. And that really happened with my daughter, with the thing that went on before that, with my daughter sending emojis. And you have to figure out the message like they're hieroglyphics.
Yeah.
All right, honey, get my glasses, get my reader, send a message. All right?
Grandma's sending hugs and poops.
She sent lip and a donkey. I think she's out of makeup and needs a ride to Bethlehem. If you know that was not the message for my teenage daughter.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm hoping, it's one of those things. Comedy's changed. Everybody right now is so tense.
Yeah.
So divided. You almost feel like, I went back to that comedy club, and it's in an area full of people that I just love. And I just think, oh, this is going to be so easy. They're just so excited for live entertainment. Everybody just kind of had their arms folded like you came home drunk and your wife's just waiting to hear what your excuse is going to be. There's no right answer.
Aww.
Everybody was just so tense.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for you to breathe out.
You each need to take everyone through either some burpees to get them moving, because movement kind of loosens people up, get them breathing again. Yeah,
how do you deal with that? I mean, a lot of people on right now, I'm sure, can relate to this, but I feel like a lot of people in this country and even in this world feel so muted, and the current climate just has us all feeling like so worried about the cancel culture. And as a comedian, you are putting out content and trying to figure out and navigate and thread the needle on what to put out there. How do you navigate that?
He's laughing already.
I was going down a path like that in a show a while back, and a lady said something, and I said, I don't know if you Googled me, I don't have much to cancel. So, good luck with that. See how that goes for you.
Well, that's attitude you have to have,
Yeah. Well, Sarah, why don't you tell us a little bit on your background on how you got started in being a comedian? Like, how did that happen for you when you were a kid? Am I still on here?
Sure. Literally, Monica, it's the tenacity thing that we were talking about a minute ago. This is all I've wanted to do since I was about 6 years old. So when I was a young Marine and I was getting out, and I went to an open mic night and just went to another one and another one and another one. And then somebody offers you $10 for 10 minutes. A guy named Sam Quasman, one of the old timers, came up and said, I got a room, kid. It pays $10 for 10 minutes.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I go, wow, if I work 40 hours a week, that's like $4,000. I'm great. Then you realize you get there and you're only working once for the week for $10, but you're a professional now.
It gave you a start. Hey, it gave you a start because, wait staff can't get hired unless they've already been a waiter somewhere, right? It's like typically like, have you done it before? No. Well, we only hire people that done it. So
it was like getting that first credit card.
Yeah.
They won't give you credit if you have credit.
Right. No. Okay. Hang on a second, because you said I wanted to do that since I was 6 years old when I was a young Marine. How did you go from 6 to the young Marine? Like, there's a handful of hours or a handful of years in there.
It was in my 6th grade yearbook. I wanted to be a comedian. My high school yearbook, goal is to be a comedian. But I went into the Marines and I came back, and that's when I tried my first open mic night. And really never looked back. I said, ooh, this is what I want to do. And I had a few breaks and some good stuff. And then I moved to Florida. And it was about 1998. Everything broke there. That's the year I met Jan. And then I was out doing shows with Larry the Cable Guy.
Okay.
Oh, no way.
Love
I
him.
love the cable guy.
Such an awesome human being. And we're driving back from a show. Actually, it was one of those shows where I think we were driving back from one of these shows at a biker bar. And we were about an hour and a half late, and I was the opening act. And this big guy stands up and just yells something. And I just got bold, and I said, "Sit down, Viper." And everybody kept cracking up and, "Hush, hush. How you know my name's Viper?" I said, "It's tattooed on your fat arm." And he came up and hugged me after the show. Well, we're driving back, and Larry tells me that Jeff Foxworthy and the guys, they're all going to do this tour, and I won't be able to tour with them anymore. I said, "Hook me up with your agent, man. I need something to do if we don't have shows together." I called his agent, and his agent said, "I have a friend in Tampa who needs an opening act for Earth, Wind, and Fire."
No way.
So
Yeah.
I was touring with them, and every venue I did with them said, "We'll call you for other acts." So before I know it, that's what started my touring career with all these bands.
Wow.
So was it that you went out as opposed to another band went out? You went out and opened the show, and then Earth, Wind, and Fire. Because sometimes they have like another singer that would come out right before the actual star. So that's cool.
A lot of the older bands don't want some young up-and-comer that's full of energy and fresh hits to outshine them. They want somebody that's just enough happiness to get it started and hand the baton.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
Little did they know Tim Wilkins was coming.
Stealing the show.
Well, Monica, you'll appreciate this. As long as we've known each other, the very first night, Philip Bailey and Verdine White from Earth, Wind, and Fire pile into my dressing room after I walk off stage and said, "Man, you were great. We have 4 more nights. We have a prayer circle over here before every show. Do you want in?" I really think that's what cinched the deal when I went, "Yeah, I want in your prayer circle. Let's do this. Where were you before I walked out? I could have used a prayer." And
That's
that
amazing.
bonded us big time.
Okay, that just choked me up because I feel when people do that, like it's so honoring to God because they're praying before their talent is exposed to people, and people are there to witness their talent and the creation of them and who they are, and they're honoring God before they go. And that just warms my heart because obviously God has given all of us very, cool talents and treasures that we can use and enjoy. And of course, you have a bunch. I mean, let's see. TV, radio, host, comedian, author, competitor, father.
He's like, "I'm getting bored. What
Husband.
I'm gonna create the best body of my life. Let's just do that now."
Well, that was another one of those dreams. All those years I was trying not to, I like how you phrased the MC stuff, Wendy, with the MCs coming back to give the competitors energy. Monica, you said it's nice to know that you have a friend because I'm over on the MC podium.
I would see your eyes and immediately feel at peace coming on the stage because I'm like, oh, there's Tim. Like, you just feel it.
And I'm cheering for you inside. I can't outside, but I'm cheering. And I tried to give my friends a slightly better intro. I tried to be fair.
Yep.
But all those years, I'm watching everybody, and I know the heart and soul that goes into chiseling that physique with fitness, the physique and a routine, which is insane.
Right.
And all those years, I said, I really want to compete. I just want to be part of this, and I want to continue to put my best up every single year until I can't do it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
I love it.
That's awesome.
Best for life. I'm like feeling this energy. I love it.
Right? I do too. I feel some good energy.
Good energy. I love
think that's just God blowing his Holy Spirit on us, guys. I love it. Okay, Kona, have we had a winner yet for our question here? Tim's latest CD. You guys, you can go, even if you've won before, you can go and find it, find the answer, and then if you want to give the prize away to someone else, by all means, you can do that. You can actually even send it to Tim, because Tim's never had legendary foods.
Because I'm off prep now. Let's do it.
I mean, if we don't have a winner, I'm sending it to you anyway, so it's all good. If nobody wants to win it, then I'll just send you the product and you'll get it and you'll love it.
What
love it.
A pecan praline?
Oh, that's my favorite. It's pecan, how do we say it? Pecan praline almond butter. And it's keto friendly, so you can imagine like it's stevia flavored and all that. So it's like, yeah. There's another couple others like a banana. What's a banana pie? Like literally a banana pie flavored. It's either almond butter or peanut butter. I can't remember, but anyways, they're good.
Sounds dangerous.
That sounds good.
Sounds really good.
There's, you know what? When you are dieting for something and then you go and have that scoop of peanut butter and then you're like, oh, one more, because you just kind of, right? We've all done that. Well, with these, I can literally have 1 tablespoon and be really satisfied with it. It's crazy. Yeah. I don't know if it's because the flavor's so intense that it just satisfies and you're like, it's just really, they're really good. I don't mean to keep harping on how good they are, so I'm going to move on.
We're going to go get some after this. So
yeah, after this, we're all going to go. So Tim, let's talk a little bit about, okay, you were a comedian, you're a teenager, you're making $10 for a minute, 10 minutes, making $2 once a week. So, and then you go into Earth, Wind, and Fire. How do you go from that to doing radio, TV? Like, what's the transition into that? Did you have an agent, or was it just all word of mouth and you putting the grind into your business?
It was a ton of grind and a ton of word of mouth, but the transition to TV was really another one of those amazing moments where someone that used to be the PR director for that very first theater at Earth, Wind, and Fire, 8 years later called and said, a local TV show is casting for this. You got to check this out, and it's perfect for you. And they needed a host for a live show, like a Regis and Kelly show. And they were looking for a Regis, and I went out for it. And out of all the hosts, I had the best stories happen when I think about this. I was separating from my wife, who was like Lucille Ball, who would sneak into auditions. Where Lucy put the mop head over the top of her, and she had a wig on. I would show up and do the thing. We went to the focus group. Said out of the 60 couples interacted that had gone, 120, 150 people that had auditioned for the show, they didn't know we were married, but we had the lowest compatibility score of anyone. These two people genuinely hate each other. They should have spent some time getting to know each other before. So I ended up getting it, obviously, and spent a couple of years on the show. And 6 weeks in, you talk TV chef is another thing you look on my bio, go, TV chef?
Right.
6 weeks into the show, and we don't have enough guests. So they said, what can anybody do to fill 8 minutes on Thursday? I said, well, I used to watch cooking on TV. I sure would like to try that. And I actually ran out of recipes by the 5th or 6th week and had to go to night school. Learn how to be a chef.
Winging it all day long.
Are you a good cook?
I am now. After chef school.
What's your best dish?
The most fun thing I've made in a while since I've been on prep. I actually made fresh pasta with my youngest the other night, and we made pumpkin and sausage raviolis.
From scratch? You made ravioli from scratch?
From scratch.
How long does it take you?
That's about 45 minutes to an hour because we were stuffing them and then blanching them and making the sauces. So it was about an hour.
That's it? I think it would take me all day.
You put pumpkin inside of the ravioli?
Oh, it's just absolutely amazing. So you put the spices in there, maybe some pine nuts, hazelnuts, a little bit of cinnamon, and just a little bit of salt. And you just put a little plop in there, and I've got a little ravioli press.
Really?
And we're cranking the little machine to make the pasta come out. I taught her how to do that. We're laying out the sheets of pasta. It was so much fun because I haven't done it. I've been in prep for 2 years. I haven't eaten anything fun in a long time. Sometimes
weird things go together. Like my twin sister eats her favorite hamburger is some hamburger with peanut butter and jelly. And now I'm hearing about, is that a thing? And then now pasta with pumpkin. I need to get on the program here. These things sound like they must be good. Otherwise, people wouldn't be.
Okay. Back in the day, speaking of how things actually could go together, I used to eat tuna fish and oatmeal and peanut butter together. Look at the face.
Oh, wow. See, now.
and then I started adding boiled chicken to my oatmeal and my peanut butter, and that's actually if you chop it up fine enough, you don't even know.
I just did that. We're going to talk about eating on the road.
Yes, later. Yep.
The thing that has gotten me through twice. So I just did a show with Tom and Kathy Kemper of the Minnesota State Championships. And I was in prep, so I went to Trader Joe's, got a bunch of chicken, a bunch of oatmeal packs, and a peanut butter, and was making it in the coffee maker using the hot water from the coffee maker.
There you go.
To boil it all, and then pouring it into my prep containers and making that in the room for 3 days.
Yeah. Hey, we're going to talk about this more here in a little bit, but it's just, we all know you just make it happen. I mean, I've traveled in 2010 and I was getting ready for a show, and I traveled to Iceland for work, and I took frozen food with me to Iceland. I packed it in my I had little, I sacrificed room in my, luggage. And I put a little, cooler in there, a soft cooler, and I packed all my frozen stuff with ice. Yeah, and it's cold enough flying over there, but you do what you have to do to make it work for your goal. That's what we do. That was
a really smart move, Monica, because we went to Reykjavik last year for vacation. And they got some really exotic foods that if you're not used to them, we were eating reindeer hamburgers and sending them pictures of our kids. Look, Santa's going to be a little late this year.
Oh, no. Poor kids. Tell us about your kids. How old are they? How many? And how long have you been married?
Gracious. Well, this is my wife and I have been married almost 3 years, so don't do the math on our kids. No. I have a 13-year-old daughter. My 22-year-old daughter is going to be celebrating her second Veterans Day tomorrow.
Oh,
and then my 27-year-old son you've actually met but wouldn't recognize because it's been almost 20 years. Oh. He was a little redheaded ginger kid. I've got a picture of the two of you somewhere with him attached to your leg.
Oh. I love kids. I just love them. It's so cute. Well, ask him if we meet again. Will he do a reenactment of our picture?
It'll be really awkward, I promise you. Really awkward.
Oh, really awkward.
Out in LA and doing their thing, and then my youngest is still home for a few more years. She's not allowed to move out till she's at least 18.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
You so that's before you want to reenact it, Monica. You got to see what the picture is first, and then
right. I wasn't in a bikini, right?
No, you weren't in a bikini, and he definitely doesn't want that bowl haircut his mom used to put on him. So it's going to be a little different than the last picture.
Does he still have red hair?
He's such a ginger, but now he's 6'4", 6'5", which is awkward to be a 6'4" ginger and get a big hug and a kiss goodbye from your dad. It's a little off-putting.
You keep doing that all day long. He's going to remember that forever. Good for you. That's awesome. I love hearing that. It's so important to keep these families tight because I feel like right now the families are really in jeopardy. So it's good to hear you're pulling out all the dad strings and husband strings and really making it work. Amongst all the work it takes to just, earn money. So and have an income. So okay. I am going to go to our rapid fire question.
Ooh.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, so just so you guys listening in, Tim has not heard any of the questions, and I tried to come up with some fun ones. So, Tim, if you have any clever comebacks, you're more than welcome to add them in. And since I don't believe we have a winner for our first question because I have a second question already too. So I'm just going to give you the legendary foods, Tim. It's all you.
Oh my gosh, this is awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
You didn't have to do anything but show up. See? Show up. Do the grind. Okay.
Yep.
Here we go. Rapid fire questions. Tim Wilkins. We've got 10 questions here. Favorite voice to duplicate or your impression when talking to Amber?
Oh, Scottish.
Well, can you give us a?
Oh, that's great, darling. Come in here right now. Lift your cable. Yeah, got my kilt. See what you can do.
I love it. Okay, what would you rather throw away? For money.
Okay.
Okay. What else is in your fridge right now?
Everything. So sad.
I wish I didn't want to bong, like long sound. Exercise, because you know, and I do
Back leg raises.
back leg raises, like if your belly or whatever's on a defense something. Okay. Describe in 3 words your first date with Amber.
Thai food and an awkward corporate meeting that turned into that went somewhere where they threw paint, water, and did weird dances.
That's
She looked like a Blue Man Group? Was that like a Blue Man Group in Vegas or something?
It was an Orlando corporate event that went terribly awry, and the fact that we bonded through it and said, let's do this again as fast as possible, let us know exactly where we stood.
I'm gonna have to hear more about that story later. That's got a lot of layers, sounds
It's
like.
an off-air story for sure.
Okay.
We might need to bring Amber in for that one.
Yeah.
Okay, because there's always 2 sides, right? And they're both good sides. Okay, if you could live in a famous bodybuilder's body for 1 week, who would that be?
Like Olympia quality?
Hey, a famous bodybuilder, so whoever you assume is famous, and you know, you think about it, not just with whose body, but their life, their path, all the things that they've done.
You know, I saw one of your covers on your wall, and it reminded me of Mark Bartram. He is 60 to have that kind of longevity and be that great a human being and look that good for this long. I'll take it.
Did you know he was on my show? Yeah, he was on my show a few months ago. You need to go back and listen to his recording.
We love
Absolutely.
He's the best.
Yeah, he's good.
You think of the classic physiques, the new physique, that's a well-rounded, muscular man. That's the way a man should look.
Right. You know, he was military and
He's a Marine. I just found this out.
yeah, exactly.
He is not all show, no go. He is all show and all go. He is
You're right.
an athlete.
And I don't know, I guess I met you first because I met him right after I met you on the Kiana Tom show. He was a guest on that too with me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, best memory on stage as a competitor.
Oh, that first top 5 at Masters Nationals. Oh, no. I messed that up. Getting the most inspirational at the Iron Bay Classic 2017.
Aww.
As I'm shoveling pizza in my mouth, they go, bro, we got a special award for you. Oh?
Pizza in your mouth.
That's funny. What kind of pizza do you like?
That was what they were offering, which was pepperoni, and I was shoveling it in my, probably using both hands like an otter eating a mussel shell.
They were testing you. They want to get the most inspirational, but they want to first see if you're going to be stuffing yourself with pizza before they officially give it to you.
I put on 6 pounds of bloat backstage.
Yeah. They're like, never mind.
Pizza with everything. I want the pizza to be an entire meal on a piece of bread.
Oh, that's so funny. Okay, name one favorite Wilkins family tradition for the holiday.
Terrorizing my daughter with the elf on the shelf.
You're one of those.
Cute. Okay, share one embarrassing moment on stage as a comedian.
Oh. Okay. Opening for Julio Iglesias.
Ooh.
The show is going rough. I'm in Newark, New Jersey. And there were times when I would want to just get off stage because it was going rough and they could have to go find Julio. Well, Julio was actually on the side of the stage laughing hysterically at how bad it's going for me.
Oh, no.
And I look over at him like, save me. He goes, stretch. So I start picking on this woman in the front row who's showing way too much cleavage. Way too much cleavage. I walk off stage and this guy that is just a block of iron with the earpiece goes, yeah, I got him. You know who you're messing with? No, who is it? It's the governor's wife.
Oh, no.
And I hid for 2 hours trying to avoid the bus, the limo, the van, whatever was coming to get us to take us to the hotel. And as I walk out on stage, out the backstage door for the 15th time to see if it's there, she's walking in. And it just capped the embarrassment of the entire night.
Oh,
did she talk to you?
Oh, she was sweet as can be. Oh, aren't you hilarious? Yeah, she was so nice.
Well, that's good. You know what? We should all be able to laugh at ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Well, she was just really amazed that I didn't know who she was and decided to go where I went. all the
Probably-
Jersey people, that was the first laugh I got.
That's
Like,
awesome.
she probably enjoyed it too.
Yeah.
You know. I
Yeah.
mean, if you're gonna put that out there, you gotta know someone may say something at some point. Okay,
She sounds
we
fun.
got one more question. Although it seems like there's been a few more questions that we've ended up asking. I love it. Or maybe I've asked. Name one thing Amber does to help you be the best version of yourself as a husband.
Oh, she supports every cockamamie idea that I have. I say that she cheers for me like a T-ball mom.
Aw.
If she could have a gallon jug full of rocks to shake at bodybuilding shows, she would. And there's times I walk off and I said, that was, whether it was a comedy show or whatever it is, that was an abomination. No, it wasn't. It was your best one. So
Aw.
by far, when you say someone's your biggest fan, she is by far my biggest fan.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's wonderful. When is your anniversary coming up?
The 20th of January. That'll be our third anniversary.
Awesome.
Sweet. Okay, so that wraps up our rapid fire questions. Very good, Tim. You get A+ on all your answers. Okay, we've got one more question for Egg White International. If someone can get this one, if you guys want to play. If not, I'm sending it all to Tim. Although you already have Egg White International.
My gallon jugs of Egg White International, so.
All right. What is the biggest bodybuilding show Tim has emceed? And we've just talked about it, so it should be pretty simple. All right,
So,
you guys.
the two of you, while the answers are pouring in, that's one of those things that I'm sure your husband's had to deal with. Well, you got Coach Matt. I don't know how, Monica, how into the sport is your husband? How fitness?
Not at all.
So were there a lot of your lifestyle points that he kind of looked and rolled his eyes at? I have no idea why this is happening.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
With my husband out of the scene? Yes and no. Like, yes, because, I'm his wife, and he's like trying to figure out how does he maintain husband thoughts and yet still understand my industry and fans and all of that, and kind of separate it. And if we go anywhere and people want pictures, or they hand him the camera or the phone, can you take a picture? And he's like, okay. Because, that was all new for him. But on the other hand, he's very popular and successful in horse show world as a coach and a trainer and a pro horseman. So he has a lot of similarities, although I don't think anyone's asking him to take pictures. But
when Monica gets back on stage, she's going to be working with us.
that's right.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Before I get back to the reason I asked you that question, because it's an Egg White International question,
Okay.
another one of those really embarrassing questions. I first get my TV show, and I think everybody knows who I am now because I'm on TV.
Mhm.
And a lady runs up to me at this big outdoor event and goes, "Oh my gosh, can we get a picture?" Sure. She hands me the camera and goes, "It's the button on the right."
Funny when that happens.
Let's really begin.
I
okay.
know. Very
So,
humbling.
the reason I ask you about the husbands getting used to things, just getting together with someone and they see a gallon jug of egg whites in the fridge
Right.
with a pump on the top.
Well, now that you say that, yes, all day long. Brad used to come to my house and see me. I lived in Austin. He was in San Antonio, and he'd drive up and see me. And on the way, he'd be like, "What do you have to eat?" And I'm like, "Egg whites, chicken, vegetables, protein powder. What do you want? And maybe some cold fish."
And what do you want?
And I'd be like, "That's it. That's all I've got, and that's all you're gonna get if you come here and you want something. That's it." And he was, in the horse industry where they go out to eat, they eat fast food. He was like, okay, so he's learned. I put 40 pounds on him easily.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So there was a night at a movie before a show. I'm 2 or 3 weeks out, and you're eating one of two things: tilapia or asparagus, or tilapia and asparagus.
Yep.
Amber smuggled in a prep container of about 8 ounces of tilapia into a movie, and I leaned over and said, "Hand me my food." And neither one of us had any. We opened this thing up, and every row is now.
I know.
Okay, that is so funny, Tim. My dad took me in 1999, flew to West Point to go to his 30-year reunion from graduating at West Point. So my brother and me and my dad flying there, and I'm of course in LA getting ready for the Olympia that year, the Fitness Olympia. And I took tuna with me because we didn't have choices back then. And I opened it on the plane. My dad went nuts. What are you doing? I'm like, I still have to eat. I'm getting ready for the Olympia. I mean, just because I'm going to your reunion doesn't mean I don't have to still do my thing. And so, of course, everyone on the plane, you can imagine, was like, ah.
So what birthday was it that you had the foundation room at House of Blues?
2004.
2004.
Uh-huh.
So she gets the foundation room. I've got two friends in town. We go up. I hung out with your parents quite a bit. I think everybody was in town.
Right.
Very sweet people. And two of my best friends come in. I said, all right, guys, I get you tickets to anything. What do you want to do? Where do you want to go? And they said, we only want to meet Monica Brant. I don't know if you remember hanging out with them pretty much all night, but my feet were tired from working the booth for Weeder all day and emceeing the show all night. Yeah. And we went up to the foundation room. I probably had one drink and I said, Monica, these are my friends. My friend, this is Monica. And then I see them coming in at 5 and they were both starry-eyed. I said, you get out with Monica a lot.
Aww, that's awesome.
Some fun times. Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys, we got to take a really quick break, and we are going to come right back and talk about some other cool stuff just in a couple of minutes. So, guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Mr. Tim Wilkins. Oh, I almost said it again. Oh, my gosh. What the heck?
Hey guys, we're super excited to be here at the LA Fit Expo. It's our third year in a row. And what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be launching a tasty pastry. It's a low-carb Pop-Tart. It's got 3 to 4 grams of net carbs. And we love this show. This is our best place to be in LA.
Hi, my name is Barbara Casarin. I am a traveling makeup artist, hairstylist. I go to you at any location, at your house, hotel, anywhere you like. I offer makeup from full service makeup to lashes, brows, just eyes. I offer blowouts, hairstyles, updos, and hair treatments.
All right, we're back. Well, you are still tuned into the Monica Brant Show. I'm Monica Brant. We got co-host, the beautiful IFBB Olympia bound 2021, Wendy Fortino, and the beautiful Tim Wilkins. Oh, I had to throw that in there. Okay, Tim, let's talk about, well, first of all, I don't know if anyone's answered our question yet, but we still have a question out there. If you guys want to comment and win the AY International, otherwise it is going to Wendy. So what is the biggest bodybuilding show Tim has ever emceed? It's pretty easy. We've already talked about it. But let's talk a little bit about your authoring a very cool book called Laugh Your Abs Off.
Yes.
I love that because I've heard
an article from Natural Muscle Magazine. I don't know if you remember that back in Florida and a few of the southern states.
Yes.
And I just wanted to put together a funny look at diet and exercise and fitness and kind of debunk the myths and give some people that are struggling with all this stuff something to laugh at. And people from our industry that take this so seriously, something to just diffuse. Mm-hmm. But I wanted to put a few tips in there. A lot of people were mad. They said, you didn't put an actual diet in there. But that's the point, is that I rip diets to shreds throughout the book.
Yeah.
So why don't you put the diet together right now within 2 minutes? I mean, really, people, like, it's so different for everybody.
Well, like, we talked about things like eating on the road.
Yes, there's a couple things I wanted to talk to you about. That's one of them. So let's dive into that.
So I think that chapter was called The Road Less Eaten.
Yes, The Road Less Eaten. Yes, I have that written down.
That was a take on The Road Less Traveled.
Yes.
These are some awesome titles.
And there's stronger titles than the writing. That was the best part. That's what. If you buy the book, it's just for the titles. And you talk back in the day. This is how much easier it is now. I literally, when I used to travel, of course, I travel with a George Foreman grill as a comedian. I'd be holed up in the hotel rooms, a blender, all my protein powders and all my stuff.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite comedians comes in one time. This Southern guy goes, "Hey man, you don't live like us. We party. How are you going to ever headline and be a rock star?" I said, "You're all going to die, and I get to live up."
Oh,
I was right for the most part. But what I used to do is I carried paper menus around with all the nutrition facts.
Mm-hmm.
So when I pulled into a restaurant, I could go, who's got the macros that I need? I know these.
Mm-hmm.
Now you could just Google.
Yep.
Restaurant, or go on Eat This, Not That. Google the restaurant's menu and make a healthy choice. It's a lot easier now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it certainly is. It certainly is. That's awesome. So my dad tells a funny story. To this day, he still tells the story about me going to that 1995 when I met Jan, and I took dumbbells with me in my suitcase, and he was he was lugging my bag along, and I had cans of tuna in it and dumbbells.
Did you have to pay like extra fee for the extra?
No, because
Oh
Wendy, this is not in the 90s. They didn't charge you for
oh my gosh.
luggage, and especially not heavy luggage. You could take 70 pounds easy.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
And my dad's like, "Why are you taking dumbbells?" I'm like, "Because I have to have them backstage." I mean, we didn't have bands back then.
There was no bands. You either had dumbbells or you had towels.
Well, I didn't know anything about doing anything with towels, so.
The ladies couldn't. There was no towel stuff, especially not when you're in heels, like a lot of the other events wanted you to do. Now, so backstage, they bring a mirror, they bring bands, some have dumbbells. They've got just this entire area of stuff. Go, man, there's 300 of us back here.
Yeah.
Bring all this lawn chairs. One guy last week had an igloo cooler and a lawn chair and a mirror. How long are you going to be here, buddy?
You have people backstage doing like a full-on workout. It's like, no, this is pump up only.
Well, Wendy, the Olympias, they used to be so stingy with mirrors. They'd put us in rooms, these big giant rooms, and there would be like 3 mirrors for 20 girls. It was crazy. Yeah, I remember I used to go and harass them. I'm like, we need more mirrors. Come on. Like
a bunch of girls fighting for 3 mirrors. That's not.
I mean, times have changed, but the good old days. So, okay. So Tim, how do you do now with traveling? Like, are you still pretty strict? I know you're getting ready for shows and all of that, but when you go to travel now, like, what are you kind of geared towards?
It's a total way of life. So now I'll usually, for the first half day or day, I'll pack whatever I'm going to have, as long as it'll last. And then if I'm going to be there for a few days, I like to get a hotel room with a refrigerator and maybe a microwave if I can, but a refrigerator especially. And I'll just go to somewhere like a store and get the stuff I like to eat. And then when I go out, just make healthy choices. There's so many people, we talked about this, that say, "Oh, I'm eating like this because I'm on vacation." You don't eat clean at home.
Yeah.
Maybe you should eat clean.
Yeah. Right. Well, with the grocery stores nowadays, they have all the healthy little meals prepared, right? So it's kind of crazy because back in the day, you couldn't find stuff like that. And now they've got these meals that are just pretty easy to go. And, and they're already cooked. You just heat them up and you're pretty good to go. Unless you're fasting because, do you do any fasting, by the way?
No.
That's okay. If
I've been every 2.5 hours for about 5 years. Overnight, I'll still wake up in the middle of the night and make a shake. I just can't go that long right now. My metabolism, for 52, I've got that metabolism of a 14-year-old hummingbird.
Well, you know what? If it works for you, that's awesome. Some of us, like girls that maybe aren't competing at this point and having those big goals, it works really good to do some fasting. So that's awesome. You look great. You look young and spry and healthy. So that it's obviously working for you. Because I know some people just can't do that, eating every 2 or 3 hours, right? Like it really is a chore to do that.
It's such a chore. The cooking, the cleaning, the eating. And now with the fast metabolism, I'm finishing a meal and I'm looking at my watch going, "Oh, really? Another hour and a half until there's food again? What is this?"
Wow.
But I was on the cruise ships as a comedian for 10 years.
Oh, wow.
10 years. And I had, as the comedian, you couldn't just go up and dine a lot of the places the passengers could dine. So I had a whole map in my head of where all the food times were, where I was allowed to eat. And I would go to all the different food times and make sure that I got my chicken here and my fish at this place.
Wow.
Ate all day.
Well, how long will you be on a cruise ship?
I would be out for 3 to 5 days, sometimes a week. And on the week ones, which is crazy, you'd only do 1 or 2 shows, and then you pretty much were a passenger the rest of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Entertaining yourself, right?
Oh, I learned how to read. I don't think I learned in high school. I think I taught myself to read on the ship. And then you train, you lay out, you read another book. There's 3 movies, so you watch the same movie about 9 times. It was not as glamorous as it seemed for the first 5 or 6 years, and then I got to a better caliber of ship, and they walked me to my room, and there was a balcony. Am I in the captain's cabin? Where are you putting me this week? The other one was literally like a prison cell. There was no windows. I finally got a window down below on a night when we were in heavy seas, and I get a knock on the door at 2:30 in the morning. It's the chief of security and the chief maintenance officer, this old Italian guy named Ennio. And Ennio, 2:30 in the morning, bro. He goes, I need to tighten your porto. My what? Your portolo. He had this crowbar. We were about to be underwater, and he was tightening the windows on the bottom.
My God. I feel like you have to drink alcohol if you do a cruise, because that's like one of the major things to do is to drink at the bars. And I'm not really big on drinking. So I don't know, cruise is all about the food if I go, and I don't want to get home 10 pounds up and be like, oops.
No, it's a rule. Most people come on as passengers and leave as cargo.
Yeah, I know. But if that's your thing, some people, that's like how they go, and they have a whole week of just being able to, party it up, and that's what they like to do. So it's, whatever you enjoy, I suppose.
I guess you have to take 2 different bags of luggage because you gain weight over that time period, right? And I know some people that they talk to me, and maybe they do like a month preparation nutrition plan to get ready for their vacation, and then they go and they eat. So it's like they go looking one way, come back looking another way, right? Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't happen. Especially now, I can say I've had some clients that have paid me for that month prior, before, and after, where they know that they're still accountable. They come back and they're in the same place. So it can happen, right? Especially if they know they've already paid for it and they're like, shoot, I've got to.
That's a good idea. Then they can have some fun and know that you're going to be there to kind of come up on the end. Yeah.
I've seen that, and then I've been in the gym on a ship and see people literally come up with a sugary drink in their hand, a cigarette they're about to light, and say, take my picture with this walking machine. They got a whole row of them.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God, you sounded like the blue collar comedy crew.
Oh God. Over here's one of these machines. Come here and take a picture of mine, Larry.
Oh, he's great. We've enjoyed watching him a lot too. So do you still do anything with him?
We talk every couple of months, just check in and see how we're doing. And he owns this place up north called Nebraska. He bought Nebraska State. He owns about 20,000 acres, I think it is now.
Nebraska.
He just goes up. He's got 2 kids and just loves his life. And he tours. I know he can't wait to get back out on the road because he was filling stadiums before COVID.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Crazy. Have you had any coaches, for instance, like Matt Allen type coach that you ever worked with for your reps, or do you do all your own?
No, I think you have to have a coach for accountability. You have to have somebody looking at you the whole time saying, we got to pick this up, or, oh, you got to. And I've had the same coach for the last 5 or 6 years, Jeff Delaney, who went well from coach to one of my best friends a long time ago. And he's just been invaluable. And then you try not to cheat on your coach. But it's really hard when your best friends are IFBB pros that'll look at you and go, how much are you eating? But Ferland Bailey's one of my workout partners, one of my absolute best friends. So he's been really helpful, and he's pushed me in the gym. And Jeff's been doing my diet forever, and he's just he's one of those guys. And you both know that as hard as they want you to win, as much as they want you to do well, they know you have another 20 or 30 or 40 years of life after it, so they want you to be healthy.
Right.
So within the envelope, but as healthy as possible.
Right.
That's good.
Yeah.
So I just had a really good question.
I'll just say really fast that even if you are in training and nutrition, no matter what, it's like you can't ever trust your own judgment, especially when you're dieting down and you're struggling, you're suffering, and you're hungry and tired and you have body dysmorphia. You don't see it the right way in the mirror. You don't feel what you should be feeling. You make bad judgment calls. So even if you know what you're doing, it's like you have to have that outside set of eyes kind of telling you this is what's going on, this is what you need to do. So it's good to have some outside perspective for sure.
Right. So over this COVID period, did your gym get shut down? And if it did, where did you train?
Okay, it did get shut down. This goes back to my amazing wife, Amber, who I said, Jim's shutting down in a day or two. We got to do something because this is my year to do Masters Nationals. I got this. She went on Nextdoor, Craigslist, and found some very, very crazy Dexter kind of guy who had gutted his entire house. No furniture except for a bed in one of the 3 rooms. Everything else was gym equipment.
Wow.
Because he had been buying it all up for one of these dystopian end of the world, but people still have to work out moments.
Oh my gosh.
In the room, he goes, "You need plates?" He was like, "Your luggage, Monica. How many dumbbells do you need?" So he just walked me around. I bought a bench, pull-up bar, weights, dumbbells, dips.
Where'd you put everything?
Out on my back patio. Muscle Beach West.
So you don't even need to go to a gym. You have everything you need.
Well, that was the only problem was it was awesome until about late April, early May in Florida when it was 92 at about 7 a.m. And it's just roasting. And right around the time that it got too hot, the gym started to slowly reopen. Mm-hmm. So I would do 3 days at home, 2 days in the gym, try to do leg day at the gym, then go back. My wife actually she put speakers out back. We got a cardio deck set up in the garage with fans all around because no matter how hot it was, and a giant TV. It's pretty heavenly now that it's cooling off again. It's pretty nice to be back in my house.
Do you find working out at home you get as much out of it as opposed to going to the gym and having that different atmosphere?
Some days I do, and other days I need the atmosphere. And I am really proud to say I work out with some lunatics, some people that really they're crazy. I don't know what's wrong with these people. They're
Is it good lunatics or bad lunatics?
in the best possible way. They're truly unstable human beings that lead lives with families, that businesses that they shouldn't have because they should be in a penitentiary somewhere being punished for the thoughts that go through their head on a daily basis.
That's important to have good people that you train with. I think I'm kind of lacking that. That's one thing that I wish I had was, a friend that I could train with that was kind of on the same page as I am. So maybe someday I'll have that. Maybe Wendy just needs to move over here and get out of crazy California.
Wendy, your stuff isn't open yet. Monica, your gyms are open, right?
Oh, we've got pretty much everything open right now. I mean, churches and the gyms are open and it's pretty, for the most part, it's like being normal, except a lot of places want you to put your thing over your face. But the gym that I've been going to on and off, you don't have to have it on. So
California, the churches are open, but you can't sing. You can only think the words in your head.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. California is very strict. But we have our gym that we go to, the owner kept things open. So, we're good there. But I did, not knowing what was going to happen, pros and cons of living right on the beach is we have this awesome condo right on the beach, but it's small. It's 1,300 square feet, really small little condo. And so we don't really have a lot of room for stuff. So we bought one of those Chuck Norris total gyms. And
Awesome.
that was what I was using for like 6 weeks before the gym reopened. And that was kind of the start of my prep.
At least you had something, but after a while you're like, oh my gosh,
Be like Chuck Norris.
where are some real weights?
So I was on Home Shopping Network for almost 10 years. My very first time on air was with the Weider Total Body Master 10,000, 5,000. It was like the Chuck Norris gym, only I didn't know that they booked me for a couple hours after New Year's Eve, and I forgot to stop the party.
Oh.
And I proceeded to reach back for one of the pulleys, fall off the machine, get back on the machine, unhook the pulleys, and almost smack myself in the head.
Yeah, it's a little crazy little contraption. It can, I can see it going the wrong way for somebody if it's not.
I was just in California last week, and I worked out with my sister. She's at this. She does CrossFit, so I had to put on a dress and pumps, which is really hard. That's just California. That's how they are.
That's
That took me a second.
Oh, Tim, that's good. That's good. All right. So speaking of your funny stuff, can you do some impressions for us? And then I have one thing I want to talk to you about your book still. I want to come back to that as I take my last sip of organic wine.
Oh, yes, the organic wine. Let's see.
And I do have a 50s
Yeah,
wine.
happy birthday, by the way. Welcome to the club.
Thank you. All right. Any Homer Simpson stuff you can do for us because, it's one of my favorites.
50th half a century. I think it might be 40th century. Ooh, it's old. No, it's not. We look good. Oh, Marge. Homer, she looks really good for 50. Simpson, don't mention 50 again or you're fired.
Oh, yes. The old guy.
The old guy, Mr. Smithers. Oh, bring me Homer Simpson and that really hot fitness girl from the 90s.
That was good.
That's really good. Hey, can you do the laugh from the big bully?
Oh, Nelson.
Yes. He's
You're
always.
that boy, Nelson.
Hey, Mr. Simpson.
And what about Abraham?
Oh,
Grant?
Abraham.
The
No,
grandfather?
I haven't been able to do Abraham for a really long time. I died 5 years ago.
I like your Obama impersonation.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
gonna still be that. That's been a while.
You were like, oh my God, so spot on.
At this very crucial time, as they count the votes, and it takes 3 days, they have asked the state of Nevada to take off their shoes and use their toes to get closer.
Oh my God, you sound exactly like him.
Can you do President Trump?
I have never gotten. I started off doing George Bush. I actually started off doing Reagan, but Bush was one. It was very fun. It was fun, and then we just handed the baton to that other fella. Well, thank you very much. It was very nice. And then I'll go ahead and out myself. I actually did some shows opening for President Trump before he was president.
Oh,
In crowds between 12 and 25,000.
Oh,
wow.
And that was a trip. Still not my biggest crowds. I just topped that opening for Lionel Richie. But he was a very nice man. And actually, he invited me back. He was on the radio. And I just opened for him in Sarasota, Florida. And I get a call from my friend who was the host of this radio show in the morning. And he said, the president was just on asking about you. You might want to call the campaign.
Oh, my gosh. Serious?
Yeah, all right. I'll call the campaign, see what's going on.
geez,
Oh my
Tim,
gosh.
you are legit.
So that was a trip. That was 4.5 years ago.
You know what? I think that God's honoring you and you are honoring him. And I love the fact that you still keep things really clean. Because I know it says in your on your website, that you do clean humor, and I've never heard anything out of you that's not
Hugs and poops.
clean. Yeah. Yeah. Hugs and poops. And I just think it's so impressive that you keep it that way. And that's important. I think people have got to be able to laugh with their families and not, any age family, and not feel like they've got to close their ears or turn their face or close the kids' ears or something, right? I love that about you.
Thank you very much. It's been something I've worked really hard on to maintain that thing that a family could laugh. Like with the Dry Bar comedy special that I did, it just came out in March after shooting it a year before in Provo, Utah. They really wanted something that a family, it wouldn't have drug references, it wouldn't be offensive. It was something that everybody could just bond and laugh over. And that's one thing I do really, I work really hard to try to be funny for everybody.
Well, I appreciate that. It's really fun to be able to laugh and not feel like I've got to, watch what I'm hearing, because I'm really, as I get older, I'm really conscious of what I look at, what I listen to, and who I listen to. And I don't want to have unhappy and unpleasant things filter into my head and in my heart. And so
but also, Tim, you're a funny person,
You are,
you're not, you don't just have a stand-up routine. You're quick and witty and on the spot. You just are a naturally funny person. So that's what I really like about your humor.
You're fun and funny.
Let's hope the clubs reopen someday and people can actually sit next to each other and laugh.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
I love improv comedy. It's like one of my favorite date night things to do with my husband.
Right. Brad and I do that too. We love it too. Okay, I want to just kind of start to wrap this up a little bit, because I know everybody's got things to do and you guys have things to do, and I'm so excited to have you on here and see your face and hear all these things. One of the pieces that you said that it cracked me up, something about, you said to somebody, you can handle me a lot better when you've been drinking. Something. So let's kind of tap into that, because I know it's in your book, and you and I kind of talked a little bit about that. In your chapter, you are what you drink too, right?
Well,
so let's talk about that, because right now it's, I think, a really important piece to kind of tap into for people to hear.
Well, and I wrote that with alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages in mind, because there's a lot of people that come to us as coaches and they say, I always tell people, write down everything you eat and drink. And literally, I've had half the people go, drink? Mm-hmm. And those are the people that are drinking 3 or 4 sweet teas. Mm-hmm. They're having 2 or 3 glasses of wine, or they're having the a vodka and cran every night, 2 or 3 of them.
Or the coffees, right? Coffee with everything.
Worst. And the coffees are 400 to 800 calories. And I look at somebody that has just one of those a week and say, every 4 days you're gaining a pound, right?
Yeah.
Just from your coffee. And that's what people don't realize. They don't realize then the alcohol is slowing down their metabolism, slowing down all the other functions. But really, you look at sodas, the sugary coffees, juices, Gatorade, all those things are 150 to 300 calories. And you cut one of those a day. Every 12 days, you're losing a pound. Mm-hmm. Every month and a half, you're losing 3 pounds. In 5 months, you've lost, 15, 18 pounds. It is so easy, if you really look at what you're eating and drinking, to lose those extra pounds and feel a whole lot better.
I agree. So what do you do with all the people that are kind of drinking right now because they're unsure with, what's going on in the world and in their nation and all the everything with COVID, right? People are stuck at home a little bit more. And so do you have any good tips or advice for that?
Well, I had a buddy, just to tell you a quick story about it, that came up to me, or he called me and he said, when you see me, don't make a face, but I let myself know I was going to compete this year, but I started drinking. And he's one of those people that when he drinks, he loses his inhibitions about what he's going to eat, because now he's hungry. He realizes he hasn't eaten in the 5 hours he's been drinking.
Oh, yeah.
Put on 80 pounds.
During the pandemic, 80 pounds?
From February to July, he put on 80 pounds.
Wow.
And I just got to tell everybody, if it is alcohol, and you're depressed, you're bored, you're whatever, find something else. Find water, find Crystal Light, find tea, find some. Don't give yourself a kidney stone. But I'd rather have cirrhosis than a kidney stone. It's like having a baby for a man. It's so bad. Yeah. But we're all gonna come out of this someday, and we're gonna go.
Something interesting about that is I do feel like people who are in like bodybuilding tend to be people who are have kind of like some kind of compulsive just by nature, we tend to be more compulsive in the way that we are like obsessive, and we are focused, and we can stick to something. And so when that is removed, it does seem to be the group of people that are more vulnerable to, becoming addicted to, drugs and alcohol and whatever. So that does worry me. And I think you just touched on a really important point, which is, I think for me, what I try to tell people is, you can't just take something out and, if you are that kind of person, you have to replace it with something, and something that will help you become productive and successful. So when something is taken out of your life, it's like replacing it with something that will help propel you. So, whether it's, revamping your business, start a website, start a business, start something that gets you into that, like whatever that thing that keeps you so focused on something, that has to be directed at something. But, if it goes down to the dark side, it could be it could go down pretty far, I think, for people with that kind of a mindset,
That's a really good point. I'm going to have to remember that when I tell people that because as competitors, and that's an interesting thing about what you did, Monica, to go from the IFBB to the WBFF.
Mm-hmm.
And then I walked running, and I thought, wow, that is incredible. And then it was, I'm going to do a couple laps. It's the 200, the 400, the 800. You replaced it with something else. You detoxed with more fitness.
Yeah.
Because a lot of us that quit competing, we've lost our identity.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, deciding whether or not I'm going to compete again, that's a big part of my identity. When I'm not a pro, I'm going to stay lean, and because I'm doing a lot of commercial work and a lot of fitness work and trying to inspire people, but not having a goal is hard.
Tim, you are pro.
Yeah.
I'll be your pro.
Well, I appreciate you recognizing that, and that is true. I've talked to people about that a long time. Like, you can't just compete you have to have some reason for competing. It has to make sense, and you have to be able to utilize it, because it's too hard. It's just too hard, and it's too hard on us mentally, physically, emotionally. So you have to kind of have a reason that you're doing it. And it sounds to me like, Tim, as this outsider looking into your life, like you've used it very successfully on a personal and professional level. So I think that you've done a great job with it, and you should be proud of yourself. Pat yourself on the back.
If I had any shoulder mobility, I would. I need to stretch more.
I can help with that, by the way.
Good. Somebody has to.
Was that showing off the bicep?
I just shot, Monica and I were talking last week, I just shot with Per Bernal, probably the greatest photographer in the history of the sport. And he looked at me at one point and he goes, "Do you not stretch? Do yoga or something. You're so inflexible."
You're so tight. Hey, I can help you. Wednesday nights, I do a stretching Zoom class online. So if you want to join, it's 8:30 Central, so it'd be 9:30 your time. It's about a 45-minute deal. So if you want to join, let me know tomorrow night.
She's going to help you stretch, and she's going to help me get glutes.
There you go. I'm happy to help.
Let's not mix that up. I don't need glutes.
Oh, so fun, so fun. I'm so excited to get to share and hear, and I love all that you're doing, and so fun to be able to connect with you again. So thank you so much. I'm going to have to wrap up our show here. And Kona, I don't know if we've got another, if we have a winner for the Egg White International. I'm not looking at my phone. I know we don't have it. No, doesn't look like you've gotten in touch with me. So, and I can't see. Let me see. Anybody have a friend who had weight issues during the beginning of COVID? Yes, a lot of us people. The Obama's impersonation was great. Thank you, Quitman.
Hello to Patrick Rivera, my good friend, who's done amazing. He does such a great job on the Olympia. Producer out there now.
What is he? Is Patrick helping to produce the Olympia?
He is.
Cool.
Awesome.
Well, that is awesome. So just so you know, Tim, I've talked to Dan Solomon and Sean Ray about coming in as a female co-host or host or something, but nobody's gotten back to me. So if you want to talk to them about it, I'm supposed to be out there too for a photo shoot with Sarah Lyons and Bodyscape magazine. So
very cool. Well, I'll drop the name.
Yeah, it'd be fun. So thank you guys for joining. And I don't know that we've got any winners here. So I am just going to, Wendy, you're going to get the Egg White International. I can't wait to connect you with Mac. You're going to love the product. You and Matt are going, and he's in Southern California, so you can actually drive over and see him.
Ah, awesome.
Yeah, he's awesome. You need to know him anyway. So it's a great guy.
White chickens are.
I'm going to have the pump in my fridge. I'm going to be all hardcore.
So Tim, tell everybody where they can find you, and we're going to have to say goodnight to you, and then Wendy and I will wrap up the show.
TimWilkins.com. My CDs are available on CD Baby, but go to download the Dry Bar Comedy app, and you'll get to watch my special for free just for downloading the app.
I love it. What is that called again? Dry Bar?
Dry Bar Comedy, and it's all comedy.
That is great. That's so fun. And we need laughter. We need some fun stuff in our lives. So I'm gonna have to go download that too, so I can follow you and get some good, clean laughing in. I need that.
I love his content. It's amazing.
Right.
Thank you very much for having me. It was so good to talk to you.
Oh, you're so welcome. The last thing I want to make sure we had talked about it was your CD that nobody actually answered the question right. But your latest CD, the Sandwich Generation, what is that exactly?
Sandwich Generation is the generation that's taking care of their parents and their kids at the same time. And they're dealing with those issues where both my kids are dating.
Title so spot on.
My kids are dating and my mom is dating. Actually, my dad's dating now too. But when I wrote that CD, my mom was dating, and she was online, and it was the creepiest thing ever. I talked to this guy we're going to meet for coffee. I said, Mom, you don't know who that is. What if he's a creeper? What if he's a pervert? She goes, "Done."
Your titles are spot on, man.
Yes, that's so cool. So as a CD, so it's a CD, so people can order it?
You can, but the people under 25, 30 are going, "What's a CD?" You can also download the cuts off of CD Baby and get the digital download just straight to your iPad, Pod, whatever the kids are using, and just listen to it while you're doing cardio.
Are you doing podcast as well?
No. It's just on CD Baby. There's a lot of places you get the digital content and just download it.
Okay. Well, that sounds like fun. I mean, we need some fun stuff in our lives. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Tim. And it's good to see your face. And do you have another show coming up that we need to know about as far as a bodybuilding show?
I am done for a while, if forever. We will see. If not, I may compete again at 55, but those guys keep looking better every year, so it's not going to be easy. But
you better back and get your pro card. You're too close.
So close. We'll get there.
You will. You will.
So good. All right, Tim. Last words of advice for staying fit and loving life for our viewers. What would that be? To stay fit and love life, what would you say? Oh, start the whole thing happy. If you start it miserable thinking the diet's going to be awful, the workout's going to be awful, my day's going to be awful, get up happy. Get up happy. Force yourself. I say to people that say, I'm just not a happy person. Pick a happy minute. Turn that into a happy hour. Turn that into a happy day. Turn it into a happy week. Just be happy. It is way too short. Right. We got to enjoy some things. Well, I know people tuning into your information and your video stuff, they're going to make them happy. So
best energy, Tim. So awesome.
Thank you, Wendy.
Taking in some of this energy. I feel pumped up.
Yes. Tim, you have a blessed rest of your evening. Thank you so much for making the time. And your show will stay on the Monica Brant Show website. So it's the monicabrantshow.com website. So if you ever want to send anybody there, they'll be able to see your show. So thank you so much for joining us. And I look forward to seeing you sooner than later, hopefully.
Yes.
You have a great night. Tell your family hi for us. Will do. Okay. Bye. That was fun, Wendy.
Yes.
I think we could have kept talking for, a while because there's always so many things to visit about, and it's just kind of fun to hear people's take on stuff, right?
Tim was a fun guest.
Yeah.
He had such a good energy. I feel pumped up now.
Go tune into some of his comedy. I've had my dachshund sitting on my lap for the last 10 minutes and she's wiggling, so she probably has to go pee. I was like, well, you
better take her to go pee.
I will. So
started.
So next week we've got I've got a special guest, Dr. Steven Sears, going to talk about. He's a very well-known spine surgeon here, so we're going to talk about spine health and health in general. He's very fit himself, and he's got a new nutrition line out, and they've got a skincare line, and so I'm excited to bring him in and have some different conversations about good health. So you have to tune in next week and hear.
I will tune in. Really fast before we go, what are the updates on Nicole Wilkins? Has she had her baby? Where is
she messaged me, was it Saturday or Friday? I can't remember. And she said she was supposed to be induced on Sunday. Oh. Now, I haven't gone to look at any social media because she was supposed to be on tonight. And I just think that's so crazy that I had Nicole Wilkins scheduled for tonight.
Yeah.
And then I thought, well, in case something goes on and the pregnancy piece, she's not feeling good. And I asked Tim, who was supposed to be on 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I'm like, can you be our backup? And all of a sudden I'm like, it's so crazy. They're both last names Wilkins, but no relation. I know. Like, that's so funny.
Yeah. Voodoo in the air, I think.
Yeah. So I don't know. I messaged her today and I just, checking in on her, but I haven't heard back. I didn't assume that I would, but
I'll go check in on her.
Yeah. She said Sunday she was supposed to be induced. So we'll have her on another time, but so, trying to be conscious of everybody's schedules and how they're doing.
I called when you have her. I wanna be there with you guys.
Yes, of course, no doubt. I want you to be there too. Yeah. So for those of you listening and tuning in, I just want to remind you that the MonicaBrantShow.com website is up. If you know anyone that would like to sponsor, or if you feel like donating even $1 or $5 or whatever, helps keep the show going. So there's a donate button, and all the past episodes are up. I need to go back and count. There's 20-something. I don't know, but I should know. And in the meantime, go check out Wendy and Matt at Cyber Body Shop. Right? I got it. .com. Yes. And I need to get my new website back up, MonicaBrant.com. It's in the works, so I've got some work to do here on my end. But thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you to my sponsors, Legendary Food, Egg White International, Aloe Life International, and Bodyscape Magazine. Wendy, it was so good to see you.
So good.
Thanks for joining us.
And you guys will go in and look at all your awesome comments. It's good to see you guys.
Oh, and lastly, thank you, Babs, for my Glam. My hair and makeup artist. She's awesome. All right, Wendy, you have a blessed rest of your night. Big hug.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.